What's up YouTube, Day here for zephyr Games, bringing you an update to my Crusadia budget deck build, and this one has some amazing spice to it. It gives you a first turn play. Now we all know the way Crusadia's work by now is literally go second, make sure your effects don't get negated, and then punch through your opponent for game. In this build, I've actually put in a little engine that gives it a first turn play. As soon as your opponent knows what you're playing, you go, yeah, that's fine, whatever, I'll go first. Or if you lose a dice roll and they make you go first, anything like that, you have a way of beating them. And that is with this bad boy here. Now, this card wins games so much more, even so in the meta right now as it is. And Crusadians can make it very, very easily with a nice little engine with the Rescue Cat. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you through this build. It is budget. You can make this deck very, very cheap. So, if you want a deck that will perform well, can win you a lot of games and can catch your opponent off guard, this is the one. The rest of the stuff all comes in your side deck, and it gets even cheaper when the Shadows of Valhalla officially hit the floors. Now, when the Shadows of Valhalla officially hit the floors, you can take out the effect faders in this deck and put it for Ash Blossoms if you want, even though they're going to be going for about £10 to £15 a pop. Alternatively, you could put Droll and Lockbirds in here if you've got them cheap enough, or Ghost Ogres. It's basically any type of hand trap you can put into this. On top of that, once the tins come out at the end of the month, stuff like Borreload and other cards I've got in this deck will become even cheaper. So don't pick them up now, wait for the tins to hit and you'll make the deck even cheaper. But without further ado, I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to take you through this deck profile, and right at the end I'll show you the combo that can get you in to Naturia Beast plus hopefully Equimax depending on the rest of your cards in your hand. So without further ado, let's get this profile started. Of course, triple Crusadia Maximus, this is your double damage guy. This is your main boss monster in the main deck for the Crusadias, and does a hell of a lot for you. Triple Draco, this is again very, very important, especially with the Naturia Beast play, because you need it to recycle the next guy, and that is Leonus. Now we play triple Leonus, this is your second part towards your Nat Beast play. So it's very, very important that you max out on this guy. Triple Arborea to protect all of your Crusadians from any type of board wipe. And it's very, very important that this card, because some people forget that this card has even been played and they don't know what it does. So they'll go, right, cool, I'm going to attack your Equimax, or I'm going to Regeki your Equimax, I'm going to put a monster in his zone, anything like that, and then you just go, yeah, cool, Arborea, and you protect it, and you're like, you catch your opponent off massively. Now, the one Crusadia I have dropped down one is Reclusia. Now, the reason I've dropped this down is it is more of a defensive play card. You do not want this, like if you have this going second, yes, it's kind of nice to pop itself or pop another Crusadia card you have to pop another one of your opponent's cards, but it's more of a defensive play when you go first, because if you can line up the Naturia Beast plus Equimax with a monster with a monster below Equimax as well as the Nat Beast, you have the ability, if you've searched out the trap going first, use the trap, Reclusia pops a trap, so you've popped one of your opponent's cards, you then have a negate off of Equimax as well, and then you've got Nat Beast. So you've got 3 negates or 3 disruptions on board that your opponent can't deal with, and if they're all spell based, your Nat Beast is not worrying at all. Then for the first touch of spice, we've got Nefurious, Archfiend Eater of Nefuriousness. I hope I got that one right. This card is actually really, really good, so you can only control one of itself. If you control a spellcaster type monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, during your opponent's end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon this card. Now, for those of you that don't know straight off the top of your head, your 1-drop Magius, where are we, is a spellcaster. So you can save one of your Crusadians for this guy. This guy, you special summon it to a zone this points to, this effect goes off, gets you to search, then you link these guys up into Regalux, and then you've kept one of your Crusadians in hand. So you still have 2 Crusadians in hand to push your plays even further forward. So this can actually be a very, very nice tech. It did come in, I believe it was a starter deck, SDMP. I can't remember exactly what one that was. I think it was Master Pendulum. But it also came in Daughters Alliance, so you can pick this one up while you're out and about. Definitely worth picking up, probably about 10p. It'll be in the back of your 10p boxes somewhere. Next up, for your Nat Beast play, you do play triple Rescue Cat. Now, of course, this is here. You can get to Nat Beast without going through Rescue Cat. Obviously, the biggest risk you take with Rescue Cat is that if it gets ashed, you're in big trouble. But in this deck, you do main triple Call by the Grave, and you kind of want to stop your opponent hand trapping you, so you do have to be very, very careful when doing the Rescue Cat play, but it does give you an option to push plays further forward. And then, of course, the one tuner that you get off of your Rescue Cat is the Valeriforn Mystical Beast of the Forest. You don't really worry about its effect. It is a Garnet, but it's just a level 2 Earth Tuner that, when brought out off of Rescue Cat with your Crusadia, quite like Tom did at Nationals with the BA of the Glacier. I can't remember the bird's name off the top of my head, and the Elephant. This is what you're doing with your Crusadia Leonis and, of course, your Valerian. Next up, for the last one of our World Legacy cards, is the 1 Crown. Now, I did have 2 Crown and 1 Lance, but because of the Nat Beast play, I've taken 1 Crown out and the Lance out because I want a defensive play. And then again, if you give this to your Ecomax as well, this can then be an additional negation. So you've got to be very, like, you have a lot of plays and negation to go first in this deck. And then we finish off the monsters with 1 of each Kaiju, Jizukuru and Dogoran for your battle play, like your power plays, and then you've got your Gameciel and your Comungus for your defense plays, and then of course we've got triple Effect Veiler because it's the budget hand trap at this moment in time. Of course, like I said, you can play Ghost Ogre because that's not as expensive right now. And then of course if you've got hold of Drolls or Ashes when Valhalla comes out, then by all means you've got additional stuff to play into it. We've then got, for the spells, triple Call by the Grave and double Crusadia Power. Now again, Crusadia Power kind of bricked me quite a lot when I was testing this out. It is very, very good, and you do want to protect your Crusadia monsters. But at 2, because it is searchable as well, is more than enough. I don't think it was needed at 3, and it did become very, very cloggy. World Legacy Succession, of course, this is your Monster Reborn, and it targets just 1 monster in your graveyard, so it can even bring back a Kaiju, which is very, very good. And then obviously boosting up your Ecomax is always going to be powerful. And then on top of that, if they do this, you make your Link monster, you can bring back Nat Beast. And again, if you really wanted to, you could do a whole, if you've got this in hand when you're doing your Nat Beast plays, you can do a whole lot of combos, even link Nat Beast further up, and then use World Legacy Succession to bring it back. So, a lot of plays to play around with on that one. 2 Pinpoint Landing. I really like Pinpoint Landing in this deck because you do have the ability of out-chaining your opponent as well, so you can protect some of your effects a little bit more by putting Pinpoint Landing. It also drags out your Ashes, and if they don't touch your Pinpoint Landing, you could draw the card you want to search, or you could draw a card that helps push your plays further forward, because if they're not going to destroy your Link monster for your Crusadias, you can keep your plays going. The 1 Field Spell, now I did have this at 2, but again, because it's an OTK deck, you don't want it at 2, you don't want to see it in your hand. Yes, okay, if your opponent pops it, that is a shame, it happens. But going for the Field Spell is like an extra step of overkill. You don't have to do it. It really depends on if your opponent's got a full board. But the main combo with this deck is you activate Interrupted Slumber, nuke your opponent's board, reset the game state, and then you get your OTK off from there. So, you know, the Field Spell wasn't required at 2, and I was more interested in making space for the Nat Beast play than I was for, you know, having an additional Field Spell that I may or may not actually use. The 1 Monster Reborn, and then another bit of spice is Reasoning. Now, the reason I've put this in here is because we play levels 3s, 4s, what is that, 2, 4, 6s, 2s, more 4s, more 2s, 3s, 1s, 7s, 8s, and 11 I think this is. You've got loads and loads of levels to play around with Reasoning, and again it's another drag out. If your opponent wants to ash something, they can ash Reasoning, and there you go, you're free to play off of that. It also saves your normal summons. You do have alternate routes to go into Nat Beast, and again, once I finish this profile, I'll show you how we do Nat Beast in a multiple ways. And then the only track we play is the 1 Crusadia Vanguard. This can be sided out if you want. We've got it in here just in case. Again, we do get to go first. Like I said, being able to set your board up with a Vanguard, plus a Nat Beast, plus a Ecomax, and another Crusadia down here is always going to be very, very important, because then you've got negation, you've got disruption, you've got spell negation as well. You've got a lot of disruption on the board to really slow your opponent down, and then because they're so worried about you, you've got an ability to slow them down. You just punch through them and OTK them next turn. Now onto the extra deck. We've got Triple Magius. This is the most important one to start everything going, so you do want to play 3 of this, because even if you have to reset and start again, this is always the first one there. 2 Regalux, you could play this at 3 if you want, but the reason I'm playing this at 2 is because I do want to play a variety of Link monsters to kind of give us alternate routes out of the game should we come across anything that disruptive or something else that needs dealing with before we can move into our Crusadia plays. Then you've got 2 Ecomax. Very rare you'll have to go into 3. If you've gone into 3 in a game, something has gone wrong, or your opponent's just opened up the absolute nuts to stop you of clearing your opponent, your board off. But the idea is, as soon as you hit Ecomax, you've got game on board. So it's very, very rare that you go into 3, which again is why I've put more of a variety in this extra deck than just out and out 3s of everything. The one Nightmare Phoenix, if you do have a bit more money, of course you put in Unicorn, but instead of Unicorn I've got Underclock Taker, I've got the Nightmare Mermaid, because you do not, if you go second, you do not want to get Iblis. You want to get rid of that Iblis as quickly as you possibly can, and Mermaid is your one way out of that straight away. Of course, you could normal summon one of your Crusadias and then go into your, skip your Magius and go straight into your Regalux. Entirely up to you, so it's just a way to work around. So I've got one triple burst dragon. This is instead of the unicorn because it's a little bit cheaper and gives you that additional negation should you want a bit more defense going further forward. Your one Topologic Spain, if you're going up against Altergeist, this is your one card out. They really do panic once you get this card in play, and it can cause them a lot of issues, especially when you have the ability to special summon to a zone it points to very, very easily. The one Borderline Dragon, now at this moment in time, this is the money card in the deck. This can be a Topological Bomber Dragon, or you can take it out completely for the third Ecomax or Regalux, anything you want. This is just that as soon as those tins hit, this is a card that will be going in here straight away at 10 quid, because it's a very, very cheap and easy card to get into. And then for the rest of the cards, we've got the one Baguska. Because you're playing a lot of Link Monsters, Baguskas can actually really slow your opponent down if they're not playing Link Monsters. And then of course the one Nat Beast, because Nat Beast will be king in this upcoming format if it turns to anything like the OCG with Sky Strikers ruling it, or of course anything that becomes spell heavy or spell reliant. Now's the time to show you how you go into Nat Beast. Now, ways of going into Nat Beast, of course you want your Rescue Cat. Now, rather than going Rescue Cat straight into your Leonis and straight into your Valerian and then go straight into Nat Beast, you don't want to do that because you want to get a Link Monster pushing further forward on there. So what you have to do is you have to go normal summon Rescue Cat resolves, bring in these two out. Now keep them away from the link zones that you're going to end with your Ecomax. I'll zoom this out a little bit more. So ideally you want these two spaces here protected. I'm going to put, where are we? I'm going to put that as our field centers just so you guys can see. So we've got these two here. What you're going to do is you're going to turn your Leonis into your Magius. There we go. Then you need an additional monster in your hand. Now, obviously, this will be a Crusadia monster, anything like that. If your opponent hasn't ashed your cat, you can feel quite safely that you're going to get away with a lot of things. Now, if you have a Borea, of course, you're going to get the graveyard protection. If you have Draco, eventually you will need Draco, so whether you search it off a Magius or not, you will need it to bring the Leonis back to hand. Anyway, so let's say we've got the Draco right now. Draco is then going to bounce the Leonis back to your hand. And then let's say we use Magius effect to search the Arborea, so we've got a bit more protection. We're not going for the kill, we're going defensively here now anyway. You're going to link these two guys up and go into your Regalux. Then of course you're going to special summon your Arborea. Then that will trigger off, and because we're going defensively, you want to search out your trap, wherever I put it. There it is. You want to search out your trap. You then want to link these two guys together. Now you've got graveyard protection. And you're going to go into your Ecomax. Of course, if you have another Crusadia monster in your hand, anything like Maximus, of course you push your plays even further forward. So then what you would do is you special summon your Leonis, you then sync these guys up and go straight into your Nat Beast play right here. Now, of course, the trap isn't of use to us right now until we get another Crusadia here, because it all depends on what your hand is. So I will do a couple of test hands, or in a different video do a couple of test hands for you to show you what this deck can actually do and push further forward. But let's just say we do have Maximus, or we have any other Crusadia monster, it doesn't really matter, as long as we've got a Crusadia monster. You would then activate Vanguard during your opponent's turn, get rid of Maximus, and then you have two options. You go straight into your Reclusia. Reclusia can get rid of this, because it's not that relevant to us right now, and pop one of your opponent's cards. You've then got Ecomax that contribute this off and negate a card. You've got a Borea in your graveyard for protection, and then you've got Nat Beast milling all day long, stopping your opponent doing anything. Alternatively, if you don't want to go into Reclusia to pop a card, you want to go into something to negate a card, of course you go into Crown, and Crown has the ability to negate a Link monster, so really dependent on what you're coming up against. Regardless, that is it for the deck profile. I hope this has helped. I hope this has given you an insight into your own build. It is very, very fun. I love this deck. It's very cheap as well. For a deck to do what this deck can do, it's the one good thing that Konami did do in the most recent set, Cybernetic Horizon, and that is made this deck hella cheap. like stupid cheap. I think the most expensive card in the Crusadia kind of lineup is Ecomax, and even then Ecomax isn't stupidly expensive. It's actually really quite cheap. I think it's only like £5 or £6, so definitely worth picking up while you can. I'm telling you now, if this deck does any well at one of the big events, it will certainly catch people off guard and can cause a huge amounts of issues. If Ash Blossoms and stuff get hit, any of the big hand traps that can cause this deck issues get hit on the ban list, then again it's only going to get stronger, because then it's got more it's got less targets to have to try and out. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys. As always, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.